Hey guys, it's Miss Etheridge. We're going to take a few notes today. So I need you to open your journal, and just like if we were in class, you're going to copy everything that I write down. Okay? All right, for first period, this is going to be number 8 in your journal, and I believe everyone else, this will be number 9 for you. We will title it Scientific Notation. And if at any point during the video you get behind, you're not ready to move on, just hit pause and then continue when you're ready. But don't take too long because you do have other things to do today also. All right, we're going to date this for 9/30/19. Just going to give you a few basic notes and then we'll add more to it when I'm back in the classroom. All right, turn to that next clean page. This should be right after repeating decimals. Okay, so title your paper, Scientific Notation. And you've seen scientific notation before, so this won't be a totally new topic for you today, just getting the basics for you. All right, so scientific notation. Let's get our definition. Is a way to express a number as a product of a number greater than or equal to 1, but less than 10, and a power of 10. So get that copy down and then I'll explain to you what exactly that means. All right, so if your directions say to write in scientific notation, and they give you this number, let's say I have 2,400,000, and the directions said to write it in scientific notation. So we said that this is going to be a product, so multiplying is going to be happening, of a number greater than or equal to 1, okay, so it has to be 1 or more, but less than 10. So we're going to turn this into a number that like is 2.4 and so on, or 1 point, 3 point, 2 point, but it has to be less than 10 and a power of 10. So right now, think about where your decimal sits. Your decimal is at the end. I need my decimal to move all the way over behind the first digit. That's always what you're trying to work for. So I'm going to move that decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So I'm going to rewrite this as 2 6/10 times 10, always times 10 because we work with a base 10 system, and my exponent is going to be how many times, how many place values I moved the decimal, and I moved it 6 times. So 6 is going to be my exponent. Okay, so let's make a little note of that the exponent tells how many times we moved the decimal. Okay. and that decimal started at the end of the number. This was a really large number, and I backed it up 6 places, so that was a positive 6. All right, now let's just work through some examples together. And if at some point you feel like you're getting pretty good at these, then go ahead and pause it after I've written the number and see if you can do it without me. If not, then you can do it as I do it. All right, let's do this number. Okay, so I have 3 billion. Right now, my decimal is at the end. I want to back it up because I only want one place in front. Because remember, we said this number has to be equal to or bigger than 1, but less than 10. So 2.6 fit that description. So I need this decimal. 3 billion is too big, so I need to back it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. So this is the same as writing 3, and you can put 0.0, but if it's just 0.0, you don't have to write that part. So you can put 3 times 10 to the 9th power, because we moved it 9 times. And that's it, we're done with it, we're moving on. We're just changing how the number's written, we're not changing its value. All right, let's do one that has some more numbers in it. Let's say this is our number. Right now the decimal's at the end. We want to back it all the way up until there's only one digit to the left. So I'm going to have 8.214. I can drop all the zeros. I have to keep the numbers larger than 0. Always times 10. And we moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. So 11 is my exponent. And when we work with scientific notation, we have really large numbers or really tiny numbers usually, and this gives us an easier way to work with them. Later in the week, we're going to learn how to add and subtract in scientific notation form, and also how to multiply and divide. All right, let's do a number that's basically small, but we can still put it in scientific notation. If I have 321, think about where's the decimal going to go. Go ahead and try this one. Pause the video, see if you can put it in scientific notation. All right, so hopefully you moved the decimal from here. You only had to move it 2 times. So we have 3.21 times 10 to the second. 2 because we moved it 2 times. All right, let's look at a couple more. Let's say I've got 345,000. Remember, where do we want the decimal to end up? Right behind the 3, right behind the first digit. We keep all the numbers larger than 0. It's always times 10, and we had to move it from the end 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay. What if I had just the number 5 and I needed it in scientific notation? The decimal's already right here behind that first digit. There's nowhere to move it, but I have to get it as a base 10. Well, if you remember when we talked about exponents, we said any number to the 0 power is 1, so 5 times 1 is just 5. And we moved that decimal 0 times. All right, now what if the decimal started in the front of the number? Let's say we had a tiny number instead of really large. We still want our decimal to move and be behind the first digit larger than 0. Okay? So I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But I can't put a positive 5. We've already seen that a positive 5 comes from moving it to the left 5 times. So if I've moved it to the right 5 times, it's going to be a negative 5. Which really makes sense because when we first talked about exponents and we talked about negative exponents, I told you that that meant you had a number that was less than 1. You had a fraction, a decimal. So here it is again. If you start out with a decimal number, you're going to have a negative exponent. Okay, let's put a few more examples. So again, moving the decimal until it's behind the first digit larger than 0. So we're moving it 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6.78 times 10 to the negative 4. Okay. All right, now let's move on. And let's do just the opposite. Let's say that the directions said to write the decimal or to write the number in standard form. So let's think about what that would look like. The standard form just means as a regular number. That's how you're used to seeing numbers. Okay? So write in standard form. So this time we're going to start in scientific notation. So let's say I've got 5.3 times 10 to the 6th. And we just want to stretch that number back out. So if it's a 6, remember this told us how many times the decimal moved. So it's right here. So if I move it here, I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I just need 5 more places, so 5 zeros. Okay, the 3 took care of one of the places, but I still had to move it some more. Okay. So our number, let's write it so we can read it a little better without all the swoops. We said 5 zeros. So our number is 5,300,000. Okay. All right, let's do another one. Let's say I've got 5.345 times 10 to the 8th. All right, so we're going to move it 8 times. I've already got 3 numbers here, so think about how many more zeros are you going to need. Well, 8 minus 3 is 5, so you need 5 zeros. So you're going to have 5, 3, 4, 5, and then 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So 534,500,000. I moved it 8 times. So it started here, and I moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times because it's at the end. All right, let's try this one. 7.07 times 10 to the 7th. I'm moving it 7 times. This is 2 places, so how many zeros will I need? That's right, 5 more. So 70,700,000. All right, let's put a couple on here. They start out with a negative exponent because we have those also. So let's say I have 2.8 times 10 to the negative 3. So remember, it's negative, so we got to back the decimal up. And think about a number line. If we're moving a decimal and it's a negative 3, that means I'm moving it to the left. That's the negative area. So I'm backing it up 3 times. The 2 takes care of one of the places. So I just need to put 2 zeros in front of it. It came from here and it moved 1, 2, 3. Right, let's put another one. Let's say I've got 6.73 times 10 to the negative 6. So negative 6, I'm moving it one time, so I need 5 more zeros. And there would be my number. Okay. All right, that's all the notes I'm going to give you today, keeping it short. Just be sure you've got all this copied into your journal and then move on to the next thing that I've left you. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.